Welcome to Behind the Smile. My name is Janet.
I'm Jada, and today we'll be talking to you about the trends that happened in dental in 2025, as well as looking to what's upcoming in 2026. So let's get into it.
I think let's take a look at the big picture, what happened in 2025 and kind of, the way patients are actually looking to find a clinic today.
I think in the past year, patients were being a lot more selective about where they were choosing to go and how they were finding the practice they wanted to get their cleaning at. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Patients are really looking for that educational content, from the dentist, so they can really find someone that they can value and they can trust, because it's not just about, picking the first dentist that they find. It's they're wanting to really pick that long-term oral health care provider that is going to be there for them in times of need.
There are so many dentists out there. I think that trust this year really beat out flashiness. So the clinics that had team photos instead of stock photos, the clinics that had authentic messaging instead of basic messaging, that is where patients were choosing to go because they felt the trust and they felt educated and they felt like it stood out above the other practices.
That's a great point, Jada. Do you remember how many dentists there were to people?
I believe the number was for every 30 people, there was one dentist.
That is an insane stat.
Yeah.
So that just makes it even more important why you need to be authentic, use your own team photos, and really stand out.
It's absurd. You see a dental clinic everywhere you drive, every corner, every street. So standing out, being authentic, showcasing who you are as a practice is what's going to make the difference for you in the long run. And I do think this will continue into 2026. I don't think it's stopping in 2025. Authenticity, a good website, having real photos, not stock, is going to continue being extremely important and what sets you apart in 2026.
What would be the one thing that would make you choose someone when you're driving by?
Ooh, when I'm driving by.
Yeah.
Oh, a nice sign. I can clearly see it's a dental clinic, a nice sign, and it just looks welcoming. Like I'm not necessarily going to jump for a $99 cleaning offer. I'm more likely to jump on something that looks professional, it looks clean, it looks like a welcoming space to come into. What do you look for in your dentist?
Pretty much the same things you do. So I really want an environment that is warm and welcoming and comfortable. Maybe not such a clinical feel to it, but I really want to be in that environment where you feel at ease when you walk into it. And I think you make a really great point, Jada, about, not necessarily looking for the 99 deal, because I think patients are now valuing the quality of care over the price of the price tag that they actually have to pay for it. So I think it's important to really stand out for about who you are, the services that you offer, as well as even the technology that you may have within your clinic. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree on that. Moving a little bit further down the line here, in 2025 we saw big advancements in technology, patients learning more about technology such as GBT.
Yeah.
And I think that is something, yes, it happened in 2025, but again, it'll continue moving into 2026. Patients are now actively seeking out GBT, which is guided biofilm therapy. It's a softer on your teeth. It's a more gentle clean. If you have it, let your patients know, educate them. But that is definitely something in 2026 that will be on the rise for sure.
I think also it's important to remember not every patient, even though technology is on the rise, they may not really understand the technology or what it does for them. So I think it's important that we, as a dental provider, you're educating your patients on what that technology can do, so what the features and the benefits are. So someone looking for a dentist may be looking for the problem that they're looking for, and they're looking for a solution. They may not know that GBT is the right thing to help reduce anxiety or fear that they might have from going to getting a cleaning. So just really understanding the difference between the technology and the need that the patient actually has.
We've talked a little bit about the website, and I also think it's important to mention that in 2025 we saw a big increase in AI searches, AI traffic.
Huge increase, yes.
And people weren't going to the site.
No.
If you're searching, you're coming up in an AI overview, that's all people are looking at.
Yes.
They're not necessarily going to your site. So regardless of being authentic and having educational messaging on your site, a lot of people weren't coming to the site. So how do you think AI traffic has impacted how dental clinics needed to market and do their writing in 2025?
That's such a valid point, Jada. we have to really take a different approach in terms of marketing because people are completely changing how they're searching. So showing up in that AI overview is so important. And you talked about the website, so just ensuring that you have the right keywords within the right content, ensuring that the keywords that you're putting in within your content is what people are actually searching for today, because what people search for today and what people search for tomorrow can completely be different. Did you know that 80% of those AI overview searches are actually related to the medical healthcare field?
That's crazy. Yeah, and like you talked about with the keywords and what you're writing on your site, you do have to make sure that you're matching up what people are searching. Mm-hmm. If I'm looking up, why are my teeth yellow? If that's one of the main searches, you need to make sure your website and content is optimized for those search engine results to try and get you in the AI overview. We can't control how AI is changing the space, but it's important that we optimize and we continue to help practices optimize for those changes and to keep them ahead of the ball a little bit. It's crazy you say 80% of searches are medical related on AI, because when I looked earlier, ChatGPT alone, this isn't including Gemini, this isn't including any of the other AI searches, but ChatGPT alone gets 2.5 billion prompts per day sent. And if 80% of those are medical, that is an astronomical number. So we can only imagine how many people are searching up, why does my tooth hurt? Where do I get my teeth whitened near me? It's a variety of different things.
Absolutely. That's a crazy stat.
Yeah, so I think that massively changed in 2025. It's going to continue changing into 2026. And it's important for practices to stay ahead of that curve a little bit. Keep optimizing. Don't get stagnant with the content you're putting out. Make sure you are writing stuff that your patients find valuable and matching up with things that they would actually be searching up in order to help you stay in that AI overview and stay relevant in that sense.
Yeah. AI was a complete game changer in 2025 for right from how a clinic operates to how a patient is searching to actually find the dentist they want to choose to be their provider. But before we close out 2025, I think it's really important that we talk about email marketing. What do you think, Jada?
Email marketing. This year, we saw email marketing prove to be really effective. More specifically, educational messaging instead of promotional messaging. So again, like we talked about at the start of this chat, people wanted to be educated. They want to feel trust. They don't necessarily want to feel sold to. They don't want to 100%. Feel like they're being targeted by a promotion. So yeah, messaging and emails proved very, very effective. And that's what I think will continue in 2026. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I do believe it's going to continue into 2026. That educational component is going to be so important rolling into the next year, because people really want to understand what they're doing, why they're doing, kind of like the who, what, why, how, and where we used to approach things. I think that's kind of how we have to go back and take a look at things. So sometimes it's about evolving, but also maybe taking a couple of steps back and doing some things that used to work in the past that now can actually prove to be really, when you add that little twist onto it as to what's the future's going to look like, it can be really effective.
Yeah, and marketing is funny in the way that it goes in a circle. So it's swung all the way to digital marketing. We're swinging a little bit back to physical mailers and stuff. But email is such a simple marketing method, but it is effective. And it's so important because practices are sitting on over 1,000 patients on average easily who are inactive. So as a practice, you have access to your patient database, those emails. Send out an email, try and reactivate your patients. You're sitting on over 1,000 patients. That is a lot of your practice.
Yes.
New patients only make up so much of your practice. Yes. Don't forget about your loyal current patients and get them reactivated through an educational email, through a trust-based email. Yeah, it's a simple, effective method. It's an older style, but it still works.
100% it still works. You work so hard to get those patients. Don't let all that hard work that you have done in the past and the investment that you've made to already gain them as an existing loyal patient, let that go to waste. So yeah, absolutely utilize the email, give them an educational piece or reason why they should maybe reactivate themselves. Now, we know not 100% of inactive patients are going to come back. They may have moved, changed locations, but let's capitalize on the percentage of those patients that you could get back into your clinic.
When we're emailing the patients, what do you think that email should look like? What would you say? What would you put in that email?
I think we need to make a little bit of a shift from being a promotional email. I think it needs to be more of like education, something that they'll resonate with. Perhaps a little bit, some of the changes in your clinic that you've had come up, maybe some of the new technology that you're offering. You really want to give them that reason as to why they want to come in and re-establish as an existing patient.
Yeah, what we saw in 2025 was lots of changes. Some old familiar marketing styles like email marketing or direct mail coming back in. Crazy changes in technology, whether that be in the practice with GPT or AI overviews, searches. It was a crazy year, and now I think we should do our 2026 predictions of what we think will be happening in the dental space.
All right, let's head into 2026.
Looking forward to 2026, and this, I'm not just talking about dental industry here, looking at any medical industry, patients want to be able to book with ease. They want to have online booking. A lot of people don't want to pick up the phone and call anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
I know it's a little different in the dental space, so can you share with us a little bit how dental and online booking might look in 2026?
Yeah, in 2026, I think one important thing is to really try and get into the online booking. So, for example, if I'm potentially a new patient looking for a new dentist, you as a clinic, you can preset the amount of times depending on the selection within a form that a patient potentially looks for to kind of control the length of the booking time, because every treatment in a dental clinic requires a different set of time, which makes online booking a little bit more difficult to implement. But I think with a structured guideline, you really can start implementing it, even if it's just for your new patient visits or if it's for your cleaning appointments. You absolutely could implement that. I think there is a way to be able to do that.
Okay, and how important do you think it will be for practices to really try and think about online booking if they aren't already doing so? I know it's more difficult, but what's the importance?
I think it's one of the top 3 things you probably should be looking at for 2026. I think in addition to that, if you're not able to integrate an online booking, at least have a chat functionality. So for those people who may not feel as comfortable picking up the phone, there is a live chat or a live agent that they can actually interact with that would integrate within your system to allow them to be able to have that communication with you without actually having to pick up the phone.
It definitely is a different space for dental. It's not as clean and simple as going to see a general doctor. You know, you don't have a certain time slot for every type of appointment. It's different if you're getting a root canal versus hygiene.
Absolutely.
Or you're in for braces. So I hear what you're saying there, but I agree that having some form of online booking, having some form of ease for patients who might be new, especially, is going to be huge in 2026. Another big topic in 2026 I think we should touch on is how digital marketing efforts can only go so far, but the experience you provide in the clinic, on the phone, is going to be massive in 2026. So what are your thoughts on that, and how do you think this is important to a practice?
You are so right in that point. From the first time your receptionist picks up the phone, like, have you ever heard the saying where when you pick up the phone, you can tell if someone is smiling when they're answering the phone or not? You can really hear it in the voice. I think that is your first impression when someone calls you. If someone walks into your clinic, ensuring that no matter what you're doing, you're stopping and you're making eye contact with the patient that they're coming in, you're welcoming them in, you know, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? Make sure you know their name and the time that they're supposed to come in. So, good morning, Jada, welcome to our clinic. Like, how are you doing today? It is so important to give them that feeling that they are the only person in your clinic that's coming in, and they are the most important patient that they're going to see today, even though you may see, 20 patients within the day, but they are the most important one. I think that is going to set the tone about who you are and what you have to offer, and it will really give them that experience as they go through your clinic, because some people may have fears coming into the clinic, and just providing that welcoming experience will potentially alleviate some of the stress that a patient might be feeling coming in.
Yeah, and digital marketing efforts, would you agree in saying this? They can only go so far. Yes, they are so important, but it's many layers. It's integrated. You can't close the full circle with digital marketing efforts. You have to have the right staff in there. You have to have the right experience. Otherwise, a patient really has no reason to stay if they don't love their experience. Like we said earlier, there are so many dentists in whatever city you're in, whether you're in Canada, the States, Calgary, wherever. there are hundreds and hundreds of dentists.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't provide top tier experience, patient has no reason to stay with you.
You're so right. Something I tell to any client that I'm speaking to is your marketing efforts will only take you so far. I can only do so much for you with your digital marketing. What you do in the clinic is equally as important as what we are doing from a digital marketing perspective, because you're right, it is a full circle loop, Jada. It has to close it. They need to feel, the messaging that they see for their brand, how they're greeted when they walk in the clinic, what they see on the walls within the clinic, the experience that they have when they leave the clinic, anything that they see even from a social perspective. It has to all 100% be tied together. So yes, a clinic needs to be just as involved in their marketing efforts as a marketing company needs to be involved in driving the leads to that clinic.
Right, and that is really something that will set you apart in 2026.
Yes.
A lot of people are doing digital marketing. How do you stand out on top of that?
Your brand is what's going to set you apart from everybody else. That is 100% the way you're going to stand out.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about brand. Let's talk about how in a digital age, when everyone is online, when everyone's on social media, when everyone's doing very similar efforts, how important is brand to a new patient? How important is it to the practice? Tell us about it.
When you think of brand, one, to answer your question, it's the most important. Your brand is number one. So if people don't know your brand, they don't understand your brand, or they don't know who you are or what you stand for, then you don't have that strong foundation to actually build your voice from the bottom up. So think of, some of the great brands like Coca-Cola,
right,
or Pepsi, or even McDonald's. Like, everybody knows, they see a golden arches, they know that that's McDonald's. So I think it's important that when you're approaching building your brand for your clinic, you're thinking about some of those bigger companies that have built those brands and how they did that and what they did to become successful. And a big part of that, Jada, is ensuring that whatever message you're putting out there, whether that's on your website, whatever's your social media, what you're putting potentially in a blog topic, what you're saying within your clinic, everything is going to tie together. So point A is going to go to B, B to C, and so forth. So they will fully close that loop for your brand message.
Would you say in 2026 it's fair to suggest to anyone watching this, take a step back, look at your brand, and see if it's something you absolutely love? It feels like you, it sounds like you. See that it's something that if a patient saw it, they would know it's your brand and it's something you're proud of.
That's a great suggestion. Kind of think of it like a flywheel,
Yeah.
right? So if you have 5 points on your flywheel, if one fell off, would your wheel stop turning? Think about it that way. So yeah, that's a great perspective. Take that step back, take a look at it. Do all the cogs fit into place? And if they don't, what do you need to change about that one cog to really make sure that is
Right.
continuously moving? Because once you start building that momentum, it will continue to flow, and that's where you're going to start seeing success in 2026.
Right, and this is not just a 2026 stat, but in general, we were talking about this other day. 95% of people, consumers, regardless of what it may be, if it's dental, if it's I want to buy a sweater, 95% of consumers are not ready to buy right now.
That's right.
Which is why brand is so important, because when they move into the 5% of people who are ready to buy right now, you want them to think of you. You want them to think of your brand. You want to be the first one that comes to mind. So when there's so much ad noise, when there's so much digital marketing noise, when there's just so much noise overall for everyone, people see 5,000 to 10,000 ads per day.
Yes.
You need to stand out, and your brand does that for you. So that's why it's so important in 2026. And that's why it's important to take a look, make sure it's you, make sure it is distinct, and make sure people will remember you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we've covered 2025.
Yes.
We've predicted 2026. I want to ask you, Janet, looking forward to 2026, what are you most excited about in the dental space?
Oh, Jada, I am so excited to see our clients really lean into AI, lean into some traditional marketing, and combine that with their digital to really see their clinics become successful. I think it's been a long road, especially coming through COVID, coming out of that, and now rebuilding everything. I'm just really excited to see what 2026 has in store for us, and with some of these new techniques that we can really help clinics take that momentum and really drive their businesses forward.
Yeah, I love that.
What about you, Jada?
One, I'm excited to try GBT. That's on my 2026 list. I want to try GBT. But two, I'm excited to see how marketing such as direct mail
Yes.
layers onto the digital stuff, because I think
Yes.
the pendulum's swinging a little bit back to physical marketing, and
A bit more traditional.
yeah, I want to see that in 2026, and I want to see how impactful that can be and how it can make people stand out. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to our first episode of Behind the Smile.
And if there's any topics you want us to talk about in the future, comment below, let us know. We would love to see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.